I'm trying to get up North Sauty Creek in the path that the Department of Conservation told me it was a fairly easy path. Right now we're going through water about 18 inches deep. And if the water wasn't up, it'd be about 8 inches deep. We're going against the wind with a trolling motor. We didn't have a trolling motor. I don't know how you get up through here. We're going to fishing spots fished by my ancestors and friends of mine. I'm going to show you the whole pros and try to explain how important this is and what the state of Alabama has done, taken away from people who will never be able to see what I've seen and do what I've done. We're quickly approaching a low spot there, somewhere where the people used to bring their tractor and family and fish off the bank, have a lot of fun. Now they got a sign up there, no trespassing, might disturb wildlife. And there was more wildlife over here then than there is now. You get up in the bottom, you're going to see many big oak trees, 18, 20, up to 30 inches around through, been destroyed by water. You're going to see some dangerous sharp holes where people might fall on if they're out there coon hunting at night. You're going to see muddy, nasty water. Hopefully, if we can get to it. If we can't get to it, we'll show it to you in other ways. And I hope you can see how difficult it is to go up through this. In early years, you can go right through here where I'm going right now in a boat, following the creek channel, going 30 miles an hour if you wanted to, if you knew the creek channel. And because of conservation is what they call it, I call it neglect. What you can see is a nasty mess created by the state of Alabama, supposedly TVA or somebody. Nobody seems to want to claim this place anymore. If they think it's, I don't know, there's some rabbits and squirrels over here in that bottom, but I don't know if they've grown well feet or not. If they haven't, they sure hell have a hard time living because they got to swim up in there. As far as this part down in here, it's destroyed. You can see it's virtually nothing, just plain old nasty water, 2 foot deep at the most. And the fishing holes, we're going to further, if we can get up in there, we're going to show you a little bit of how it was and how it is. I guess you call that present tense, past tense, maybe some present perfect, past perfect, but it damn sure not perfect now. You can see a big old stump sticking up right over there, and the water about 6 inches deep. I was told by the Department of Conservation, this is their words, you have access to that bottom, so virtually quit calling us and asking us to open the gate up there because you have access. If you can see well and you, I don't know, I could say it kind of hateful, like you got a little bit of sense, you hear this thing, no trolling motor knocking around on the bottom, you know this access is not too easy. And my departed friends, my best friend Roy Stewart, we spent hours and hours and hours up there. Jimmy Russell, old Eddie Gentle, no telling how many hours we spent up here. There's a place up here in the corner. We even brought old Jenny Stewart up here one time. I'm going to show a picture of what we were fishing, catching fish every day. And he threw his line across there, got hung. Do another line across there and got hung. Do another line across there and got hung. Well, it looked like a power line going across the lake there. And you can see the farmland over here to the left. Supposedly that's farmland. They say the only people can get in there. It's got license to get in there as farmers. I don't know. Maybe they just farm like that now. Farming changed a whole lot, but I might see anything like that. We're creeping up through here and dragging the bottom now, going against the wind, about to run the battery down, already broke the trolling motor. That's what you get every time you come up through this so-called easy access. You get something torn up, you're highly likely going to get up in there, your battery go dead on your motor, your trolling motor, and you're going to have to paddle out of here. 9 out of 10 times the wind will change, you have to paddle against it. So it's the hooper guys, you know, all good hooper and their brothers, saints, it's just males and all the people in the asphalt here. And the hooper and Sparkmans, I'm going to show you basically where they fish. And Mark Hooper, he's still around. He loves to fish up in here. He's kind of like me, you know, he's not able to walk 3 miles. Just thinking about it, if you was to catch fish out of crap, you get him out, you'd have to drag him. It's almost impossible to describe how much this hurts an old man that's spent his whole childhood rambling right up here in this pretty water. Big old tall trees. It was beyond description. You can't replace things like that. And they were just taken down by neglect. We're going to cut off right now. We're just going to be going about another 2 miles. You know, and it's just so aggravating that if you have ever experienced anything like this in your childhood and you see how your government has turned its back on you and let the good public land, you're denied access to public land. This is public land, not worth a damn now because it's about 18 inches deep slab. And there's places in here where my mom and my dad sat on the bank here and caught crappie years ago, and that'll never happen again. It's almost to the point right now to me, I'm not even sure that I'm in the right place. It seems like I might even be lost, going the wrong way, because it all looks so bad. We're going to cut off right now, and we're going to have to go up here about another 400 yards through this easy access to even get to what we call the creek. I say 400 yards. It's probably a mile. But just keep that word in mind. This is easy access as described by the Alabama Department of Conservation. After about an hour and a half of the so-called easy access, we now have a drive at the Higgins Old Mill, I think it is what they call it. People call it by different names. But throughout the generations, people have come and get a view of the bank over there. And stood there on that bank, caught crappie, bass, brim, and really enjoyed the day. If the sign was taken down over there and the gate removed, there's no harm that anybody could do in getting here, and it would take about 10 minutes. My daughter and I came up through here. We broke the blade off of the trolling motor. Most of the time we were in water about 8 inches to 10 inches deep. As you can see right here, this is maintained its beauty over the years. The water's probably 6 to 7 feet deep. If people were allowed to, they could still come up here and fish. And you can take a look at the woods there. And I don't know any way in the world that you could do any damage to this. And when we travel on up into the woods, you'll see that there's been more damage done by neglect. Neglect is by not managing the beaver population. You cannot wipe out the beaver population, but as I told you back earlier, people who have bothered to manage the beavers have avoided losing their timber, their land, and washing crap into the water. It's not supposed to be there in the marshes, and etc. We're going around a stretch right here where all Booper and Mark caught a lot of big old bass. Other people caught bass. And I can't name all the people who fished here, but Bobby Steer Jr. passed away several years ago. Sat right there on that bank on his haunches for day after day and fished for crappie. And his dad and his brother and the whole family, they stayed in here a lot. And right here under this old big tree, this stump right out here in the front of us, behind us, you could drop a minnow in there and get a big old crappie just about any time. Right now, if I had my reel, I would just have to fish a while and forget about this. But I thought it was worthwhile for people to see. And I know for a fact throughout the state of Alabama, a lot of this stuff is happening. And it's totally unnecessary for a natural resources to be done away with by whatever, And I look up ahead here and I see a tree across the water. I'm not sure we can even get in there to show you the rest of it. I have some pictures I took last week, perhaps we can use. You can see the roots of that stump right there that we're going to get hung on. Water used to be a lot deeper than that. It was a good place to fish. Where's the paddle?
Where the public can easily get to it.
Well, you and I came up through here. It took us about an hour and a half to get to where we could have gotten in 10 minutes if we'd been able to use the road. And I don't know. I can't find the paperwork that says we can't. I can't find a person that tells me why we can't use it. There's absolutely no harm that a truck, a tractor, or a four-wheeler, whatever, would do any damage. We can bring your boat over there and put it in. There'd be very few people take advantage of it. But people would like to come in here and view the beautiful oak trees and the trees that you see out there out here in this water. When you and I come back in here, if we come back in here 2 years, 3 years, all these trees are going to be dead. All across this bottom, especially on the west side, looks like this, except the trees are dead. They're falling in the water. That big oak tree right there with all that water around it won't last long. And all across there, you see dead trees everywhere. Sure, there's a few ducks out there. If there was ducks in here before, there'll be ducks in here after. The number one food for a duck is acorns. And you kill those big old acorn trees, you're not going to have more ducks. You're going to have less ducks. And it's a proven thing that you can control those beavers. You can come in here and drain this water out of here and maybe preserve some of this bottom. I would say half of it is like that right there and worse. So the government refused to pay a little money to control the beavers. That's basically that simple. But, if you control the beavers, this water won't stand here like this because it's backed up here because of beaver dam. And like I told you on the way up here, beavers are not, you can't kill them out, but you can control them. There's a large tree right there. Right there's an oak tree that's probably worth, I don't know much about timber, but that thing's got about 4 nice veneer logs on it. Bring a lot of money. That tree's going to be dead in 10 years. It's going to be falling out there. Nobody's going to benefit it. We've seen a few ducks. How many squirrels have you seen? None. How many rabbits have you seen? None. There's supposed to be a wildlife refuge, not just for the management of ducks. It's raccoons, possums, rabbits, squirrels, and all small game. You don't see any. There's 10, 30 years ago when you walked across here, you'd see rabbits everywhere. All you had to do is look up in a tree and you see squirrels. They're not here.
What did this look like 30 years ago?
You take a look at that right out through there. It looked beautiful. You could walk from the south end to the north end, and there was one little old branch that you might get your feet wet in if you tried to. It was high and dry and beautiful. Now you stumble in that water, especially if you're cane hunting, and you run across one of those stobs where those beavers have been cut, you're likely to get hurt really bad. Not only that, that is a smorgasbord for every kind of bacteria or mosquitoes. I don't know if a snake would be dumb enough to get in there or not, but that is not healthy water. That is stagnant water. This is a beautiful land that your children, your grandchildren ought to be able to walk up here someday, look up in that big old tree that's been there for hundreds of years. I don't know what part of this area that Sequoia and the other Indian tribes walked on, but I know for a fact that historically there was a sign up on Highway 35 now, gold and black sign that had a Sequoia land on it. Years ago, it's there and it's gone. And I don't know, I don't feel like he'd be too happy the way it looks now.
But what specifically prompted you to start trying to get this gate reopened?
This right here, I remember my buddy Roy Stewart passed away. My buddy Alb Hooper passed away. My buddy Dud Hooper passed away. My buddy James Saint passed away. I guess the departure of my friends who had enjoyed so many days up here, that I just thought that their children and their children's children ought to have the same opportunity to come through here and squirrel hunt and coon hunt and do the things that they did and their daddy before them did without having to deal with mess like this I see behind me. That prompted me to do it. I mean, there was people like James Mount, old Grumpy. He went over there, and every time it come a big flood, he'd go there, and he and Billy Joe Saint, Billy Joe's departed, and catch catfish on the off the bank over there. Just story after story after story of mostly my friends that enjoyed this bottom for so many years that we're not able to do something to maintain it. If nothing else, just in their memory.
What are people allowed to do on this property now?
You can do it all you want to do if you make that trip up there that you and I made. How many people you think could make that trip? It took us an hour and a half to get up here, and with the road open over there, it would have taken 7 to 10 minutes. It took us an hour and a half. We hit about 10 stumps. We broke the pipe off of our trolling motor, and it was just a miserable trip, but it's going to be a miserable trip back. And we're not going to have many people make that trip because it's not worth it.
Well, can you tell me the story about your friend pretending to be the game warden?
Well, we were in the wrong. That Fuzz Hamilton was a game warden, and we toyed with Fuzz at this bottom. We had so much fun with Fuzz. You always thought he'd hide behind one of these trees, and he'd catch you, and we'd hear a limb crack, and we would run as far as we could, and we'd stop. And then one day we were driving down that road, and we were dead wrong. Well, across the road was no covey we'd been hunting for years. Got away with it. We jumped out and we killed two of them. Somebody jumped up and said, "Game warden." We threw our guns down. We ran probably this far. We ran until we were scratched up and bloody all over. And we got back up after the truck car, and there sat Roy Steer on the fender, grinning like a scissor cat. And well, where the heck he come from, I don't know. But he told that story up until the day he died. And that was Jimmy Russo and me. And he just got one on us. But we got to this bottom, and you'd hear the limb crack. There's Fuzz, and we'd take off running and all that. And I came through here one day, and right along here somewhere, somebody said, "Hey, Hoss." I sat there and, "Hey, Hoss." I couldn't see a soul. I ran and I ran and I ran. I stopped. "Hey, Hoss." Nope. I ran and I ran and ran again. "Hey, Hoss." Nope. I just kept on running until I went all the way to Limb Rock store. Nobody would ever claim that they did that. I don't know who it was. I never saw them, but I heard them. There's a lot of stories to be told at his bottom. I think Bird Legs Richie, he trapped beavers down in here, and I heard that he got run out of here one time by something. I don't know. But maybe when people see this, that have had encounters down in here that really care about this bottom, will pitch in and make a little more noise. Maybe we get some drainage here. And really, the whole creek down there where you and I came with water that deep, it needs draining out, because when they built the road down there, they blocked the creek. And therefore, the water backed up. And now it's about that deep. And they call that our access. I know you've seen it all, except back in there, you don't want to see that because you can't walk through it. I want to conclude this by telling Gomer that eats what breakfast with us every morning. He can't make it to the forks because there's 4 or 5 logs across the creek. Gomer's ancestors fished up here a lot. He's a young man. I know he'd like to come up here and fish, and maybe we can get it where he can. And also, my brother and I and a guy named Ray Sanders used to coon hunt in here quite a bit. Ray Sanders would sit here and argue with you all night long about which way the water was flowing. And Ray Sanders and my son Landon, they think they're the only people that can walk through this bottom without getting lost. But you and I proved that we can go a long way and came right back to the beach. Okay.